Harold Stewart. Okay, now, Uncle Harold, what is it like living with type 2 diabetes?
Well, I have to say, Shelley, that it's like living a marathon. I think that it's been really humbling for me because it's been a journey of discovery. But I have to say that I've resisted along the way. When I was first diagnosed with diabetes, I'd probably had diabetes for a couple of years. And I thought I had cancer. When I had my appointment with the doctor and he said, well, Mr. Stewart, I've got some good news and some bad news. He said, you haven't got cancer, you've got diabetes. And I said, oh, what a relief. And he said, listen, diabetes is very serious. And I'm now discovering how serious it is because it comes in a package. You don't just get diabetes. You get 3 or 4 other diseases potentially. So I'm now changing my life. I'm willing, I'm on board with the doctor and the other medical people that work with me to help me change my life. So I have all these tests and I weigh myself all the time, and it really does feel like I'm training for a marathon event. I'm having to watch all my food, and Harry is a guy that likes all his food and all of his sugar. Harold is the part of me that wants to follow the doctor's orders and listen to the diabetes educator. But you know what? I've been inspired just by listening to Maxine. She gives me hope that I can beat diabetes. I'd like to beat diabetes. I'm going to be part of the study because I do want to have an end with diabetes. It's made such a huge difference to my life. I think I've lost 25 kilos since I've had diabetes. So that's a good part, but people say to me, well, Uncle, have you been sick? I say, oh no, I've just got diabetes. But that's what it can mean. It's all the other things that have put you at risk of cardiovascular disease. You've got to look after your feet, and you've got to look after your diet. And it does affect you in a lot of ways that you don't expect. So it is a very serious disease. And I was just watching the news this morning, and they announced that 300 Australians every day of the week are diagnosed with diabetes. So it is a serious disease.
Yes, it sure is. Now, what would you say to community members who are saying that they would not like to take part in the Aboriginal Diabetes Study?
Well, I'll use the words of a community member who spoke to me recently. I went out to a community with Charmaine Hull, and we've been doing community awareness to tell people about the diabetes study. And after the meeting, this uncle came up to me and he said, well, you know, Uncle, I wish someone had told me about diabetes 10 years ago, because since then I've lost 2 toes. And if I'd only known about diabetes, I might have changed my life. So I think if I would encourage as many people as possible, even if you don't think you have diabetes, it's important to have tests for it, because in my family, my father's had diabetes, my brother's living with diabetes, and now I have it. So it only seems to affect the men in our family. So there is something there, Paul, about genetics, but I think that I have to be honest and say that I've had a love affair with sugar. And there's too much sugar in everything, in drinks, in food. There's too much salt. there's too much fat. There's a lot of things we can change in the Australian diet, and Maxine's just shared with us how she was able to beat diabetes, and you're an inspiration, Maxine, and I have to say the other ambassadors really inspired me and encouraged me too.
Yeah, they're absolutely wonderful. They've certainly picked good people for this study. Now,